Good morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. Hope you are doing well. What you saw just now was me cleaning off about half of the honey frames. Again, that honey cannot be eaten by humans or other animals other than bees because I foolishly left the honey supers on the hive when I treated for mites with Apistan, and so that makes it unsafe to eat. Also makes the wax unsafe. However, for us, like I can't harvest that wax and use it to make candles or anything like that. But the bees can still use it. So I tried to save some of the wax in some places. Basically, those frames are going to go back into honey super boxes, and I'll give them back to the bees, and then they can put honey in there for this year that will be safe for us to eat. That was actually yesterday morning. Then Mike and Aiden and I came out here and did some more work on the lower beds. And we got one bed completely full, and then we put the cloth down in the next bed, but we couldn't stay to do more work because we had friends coming over. So I'm back out here this morning. I'm not gonna be able to do any digging today. I have to harvest. There's not much to harvest. You guys, I don't know if I can explain how stressful it is. It's literally waking me up in the middle of the night knowing that I have no ranunculus, which are the flower that carries me through to summer. I've got daffodils and tulips, but once those are done, then I have nothing until like zinnias and stuff like that start blooming, and they're not even in the ground yet. The lisianthus are coming this week, but and I will plant those, but those won't bloom until probably late June because they're 3 weeks late. They got back ordered, so yeah, I'm extremely stressed about this. So today I'm going to harvest out here. There's lots of daffodils and hopefully some tulips to harvest. I've already harvested a big bucket at home for bouquets that I need to make this evening for tomorrow. But I'm also going to see if there's any greenery that I can take. The Amimagus doesn't look quite ready yet, but I might still harvest some of that. But then I have some transplants to put in the ground here. I have a tray of stock that is just going to be like stopgap. I was basically just using up seed. I'm not really planning on growing stock anymore as a crop, mostly because it just doesn't do that well for me. And it's beautiful, but I struggle with it. Like it just doesn't like it here. So every year I've tried growing it. This is the 5th year. So now I'm just using up the seeds. I will be putting those in. I have a whole tray of those, and I'll put those in to one of the safe beds that has fresh soil in it, not this soil that's not doing well. And I also have half of a tray of various greens like Amimagus and Orlea and some other stuff that will hopefully tide me over until some of the summer stuff starts coming up. So, I'm just looking now. The feverfew is still here, which is great. But again, hasn't grown much at all. The same with this straw flower. I'm sending off the soil samples today, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have answers to that within a week or so, because if they come back and say it's not contaminated, then I'm immediately going to start amending these beds so that I can plant other stuff, because the shortage of beds that we're going to have is pretty extreme. So, yeah. Farming is always an adventure, and I feel like, you see on Instagram and in some YouTubes and stuff all this like beautiful fields of flowers and stuff. Most of the time, that's not how flower farms look. In fact, if your farm is all blooming out, then you've surpassed the harvest time. Most of us struggle with crop loss and high pest pressure and just all kinds of stuff. So that's more the reality of it. That's farming in general, and it is challenging. So anyway, mostly I just want to be able to provide beautiful flowers for people. And when I have a major crop loss like the ranunculus, which is over 700 plants that are gone, that puts a major dent in what I can provide. And also it's a big, huge financial loss. So, all right, enough complaining. So I'm going to harvest and then transplant, and then we're going to go back home to the home garden And I have plants to transplant there as well. Still having massive rodent issues, but we'll see. I mean, all I can do is put stuff out and keep putting out traps. And I think I have some rodent repellent here, which, you know, it's not foolproof, but it does help. So I will, if I have it here, I will put it around everywhere the new transplants are. And if I don't, then I'll just pick some up. I have to go to the hardware store later today anyway. All right, so I'm gonna get started because there's a lot of work to do today. After all of that I just told you, I still need to make bouquets and stuff for tomorrow, so it's gonna be a very busy day. Okay, so got some stuff harvested and got the transplants in. So this front part here is star flower. It's a kind of scabiosa. It's looking wilty because I need to go turn on the irrigation. Then we've got a bunch of Amimagus, 2 different varieties, I think white dill and Queen of Africa, and then a little bit of stock. And I put the rest of the stock in with the current stock in this crappy soil, only because the stock actually are continuing to grow. So I didn't want to use up any other good bed space. If they continue to grow there, great. If they don't do well, then whatever. So those are in there. And I harvested some Amimagus for bouquets, and then and a few tulips. And then we spent the rest of the time weeding the pollinator patch, which desperately needed it. I get a lot of this nasty prickly guy here. I think it's a wild lettuce is what they're called. but they have a tap root and they're really hard to get out, and you can't pull them out with gloved hands because they are very serrated and very sharp. But so I pulled them out where I could with the shovel, and then I popped in clumps of Sweet Annie. I'm not going to put Sweet Annie in the rows this year. It gets enormous, over 5 feet tall, and a single plant can be 3 to 4 feet wide. So I'm putting it here. It can stay there forever. It will drop its seed and continue to grow, and I can harvest on it whenever I want. So that's where it's going to be. But we've got some holes in here that tomorrow I need to come in with, some compost and fill back in. One of the wild lettuces was commingling roots with the buddleia, so I had to pull them both up, shake that one off, and then put the buddleia back in. So it's going to be in a little bit of transplant shock, and then I cut a whole bunch back from it. So it's going to look rough for a little while, but it'll be okay. So cut back the monkey flower and the calendula and all that stuff, and we'll come in. Oh, and the borage is coming out, which is great. This self-sows itself every year. So once these daffodils are done, then I can put more annuals in here or more perennials. Look, there's cress back here. Isn't that such a beautiful plant? A lot of cut flower growers grow this as a foliage for bouquets, but I can never get tall enough stems from it. My stems from cress are usually only 8 to 10 inches high, and that's just not tall enough for stems for bouquets. So but I do like it, so I'm planting it through here. So it's still kind of a mess. I will put some fresh compost in here, as well as some more perennials, and then this will be set for the season. I do want to add some more rudbeckia and calendula in here as well. So that's it for right now. I'm going to go run my errands. I've got to get the soil samples off to in the mail, and I need to eat. And then we'll go to the home garden and do our transplanting of some veggies. Okay guys, so it's almost the end of the day. Time got away from me. Slow. This goofy chicken. Whoa, there's a lot of eggs in here. So I ended up having to run some errands, had some meetings that I hadn't planned on. So basically, did not make it out to the garden, but I did get some really fun stuff at the plant nursery, which you'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow will be more transplanting, but it'll all be here at home. We will transplant all the veg that needs to go in, holding all the eggs in my shirt. And then I'll show you all the stuff that I got to go in the cottage garden. Girl, what are you doing? Crazy bird. So that's going to be it for me today. Yeah, hopefully you can join me tomorrow, and I'll show you some really fun stuff. Hi! That I got at the nursery. I'm looking forward to planting all these things. So, thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.